Let's start off with what we're all thinking. It's crazy that I can reach the podium, I know. I'm surprised too. Esteemed guests, teachers, parents, and of course, fellow graduates. Yes, even the 6th graders in the back who are probably taller than me. Hi, I'm Maxine Tseng, and it is my greatest honor to be speaking to all of you today on the behalf of the class of 2022. Guys, we did it. All the random field day categories we were forced to sign up for. All the physics experiments we had to redo because we didn't see the instructions. All the trips to the nurse during PE just so she would give us an ice pack. All the fake periods. It's all over now. They say your life flashes before your eyes right before you die. And I guess stepping into a new world as an adult, even if we're not all legal yet, where high school is just a distant memory, is no different. I can still hear Chen Chen singing off-key in the halls. Our last-minute chant at the 9th grade power dance competition is still ringing in my head. And let's not forget the incessant laughter echoing in our classrooms, often prompted by Heidi's sus smiles. As much as we complain about it, IBSH has been an irreplaceable home for all of us. IBSH is home to our first crushes, first fights, first awkward dances, Lewis, first friend zones, first streaks of white hair that we begged our friends to color in with Sharpies, Sarah, first Fs, and first record low 0.1 class averages in Hui Lian's geometry class. I guess it's safe to say, 你们是我好多好多好多的第一次。We are more than the rancid classroom smells teachers complain about when Kohei's lunch from months ago is still there, or when Joshua adds on to his food ventures. We are also the masters of the aromas wafting from the cooking room during A&T, or from Interact making quesadillas. We are more than the frightened students who took our first steps that landed us here all those years ago, 实验宝宝 and Sean alike. We are also the guiding buddies that helped others along the way, Ellen knows, and the friends who've put up with each other for 12 long years. After all this, we finally managed to cross the finish line one last time, just as how we've placed last in all class relays leading up to this year. We've created a name for ourselves, even if it's just Christine 老师 calling us 臭小孩 when we turn in homework she forgot about 2 weeks late. We're also the grade that got all the Miss Jennies fired and burned through 3 Chinese teachers in a single semester in 7th grade. We spent so much of high school speeding through assignments minutes before the bell, spark-noting Shakespeare, Homer, and Thoreau, right up to the second Miss Lynn slapped a reading quiz on our desks. But while I was preparing for this speech, flipping through all our old books in search of a quote, I realized just how much fun we had when we were fully immersed in the text. Who could forget the time we took all the mats down to the quad just so we would be reading in nature like the Transcendentalists? Or the mom spaghetti raps we had to sing without knowing the tune to? If you'd spark-noted our years at IBSH, you would have missed us tricking teachers into believing we were playing on our phones during noon quiet time as we held onto empty phone cases. You would have also missed how it felt like our entire grade was on the honor roll when every name was displayed on the screen for missing flag ceremony. If you hadn't slowed down to reread these IBSH chapters, you would have forgotten the day the fan fell from the ceiling during math class. If you hadn't immersed yourself in the full 12 years of our story, you wouldn't have gotten incredibly good at Scum, Beyblade, Xinjiangbing, Wordle, and toilet tag. Sorry. If you hadn't read between the lines of our tears, You would have highlighted our heartbreaks and dramas, completely missing the times we came together for each other whenever someone was upset. If you hadn't put in the time to find the theme of our story, you wouldn't realize the bonds that we, the class of 2022, share are stronger than ionic and covalent bonds put together. Sorry, Crystal Walsh. If you hadn't but now our insanely long bell is ringing. And as you scramble to finish the last words of your Spark Notes passage on your dash from 12B to the classroom on the other side of campus, you realize that it's the last IBSH bell you'll ever be held to. We've reached the end. We've reached the end to ignoring Michelle's demands that we clean up. The end to pushing blame on our absent homeroom teacher for our messy classroom. The end to our successful pleas for Tony Lalsha to curb our tests. The end to Zhao Guan kicking us out of the classrooms 30 minutes after we told him we'd leave. The end to breaking more windows and lights. The end to stampeding down to the psych classroom only once the bell starts ringing. The end to screaming between 12A and B during recess. The end to pushing each other down the hallway on a half-broken chair. Even my ceaseless anecdotes cannot extend our story. Even if we plan a grad trip, this is still one of the last times we will ever be together as a grade. Even if we try to annotate every single line of our IVSH chapter, starting from the very first word, we've reached the inevitable end. Together, we've written this narrative as a fairy tale with us against the world. Together, we've lived through all 12 years of what is now history. So to all those English teachers out there, here's the moment you've been waiting for your whole lives. You were right. Spark Notes really doesn't compare to reading the actual book. It may be too late to go back in time and unspark-note the shortcuts we took, but it's not too late to face our future with an absolute devotion to living in its entirety. IBSH, you were a beautiful chapter in my life. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, class of 2022, all of you. Thank you for making IBSH a chapter I could not and would not ever spark note.